The fears you don't face today will become the limit for you tomorrow. Every single fear that is being avoided, every single calling that is being ignored is going to create a level of resentment, a level of friction, a level of discomfort that is going to essentially dictate our lives for days, for years, for the rest of our time to become. This is probably the most underrated topic, is that we are all scared. We all have fears. It's impossible to be fearless, and if you are, you're probably ignorant. It's normal to have fears. It's normal to experience anxiety, fear-related emotions. But to not avoid them, to not run away from them, to not distract ourselves with other aspects of life and hide away from these fears. The problem with fear is that the more we run away, the less we are aware of what the fear even is or what it was. The more we disengage, the more we distract ourselves, the less awareness we have of what it is that we're actually experiencing, what it is that we're actually feeling, and what the core feeling underneath it all actually is. It's too easy to come up with excuses. I don't want to go in the ocean because it's just too cold in there. I don't want to go in the ocean because I'm not willing to drive for an hour and a half to get there. But what the underlying fear is that maybe I'm afraid of open waters. I'm afraid of that dark water, which I have no idea what it is, that entire ecosystem underneath me that I'm clueless about. And all the sharks and all the other animals that are living there, and I'm in their territory. To be able to identify where the core of our fear resides, and just to have the awareness. You don't always have to tackle every single fear. I admit I'm afraid of flying, I'm afraid of jumping off of a plane. I may or may not want to explore that fear, because that fear may or may not necessarily serve my life. But there's other fears in life that are related to a calling, related to a deeper passion, an emotion, an identity that you've always been aware of, you always felt about yourself. Those fears deserve to be explored. Maybe you've always felt a connection to martial arts, yet you're afraid, and it's the right feeling to have. It's a scary path. A lot can go wrong. You can easily get hurt. You can have very serious injuries from the practice of martial arts. But if this is a calling to you, if this is something that's been calling your name, if it's a part of your identity that you've always envisioned for yourself, not something you wanted, not something you thought you could achieve, but something you believed that you always, it's always a part of who you are, and you just had to accept the invitation that the world was giving you, yet you let go of it. You let go of it for years. You let go of it through all sorts of excuses. Taking a class here, and then you have to move, and you have to get rid of that class. And when you do move, or if you even move, you never search for another class elsewhere. Perhaps you started a class and then you got a job after that, and things got busy and it was hard to maintain, so you decided to put it on hold. Priorities, or the investments, right? Every single one of these topics, whether it's the ocean or it's the skydiving or martial arts, these are expensive endeavors. Anything we choose to explore in life that is going to essentially educate ourselves, educate us in one way or another, it's going to cost money. And it's too easy to take money and use it as a reason to not do something, because everything has a price. Your existence in life has a price. If you want to be net zero, perhaps you should not be alive. Being alive costs money, and that's just the way life works. So we're not in this game of finding the cheapest way, the cheapest route. Sure, it's nice to save money, and of course some of us at certain times in our lives need to, but there's also another conversation underneath it, which is, what are you willing to spend your money on? What actually means something to you? And if you're going to spend money on the skydiving or the surfboards or the martial arts class, in what other categories of life are you willing to let go in order to keep your life more cohesive, more balanced? That's really the art. Is that if you choose to gain something, you must also let go of something else. The world we live in will essentially teach us that, whether we want to learn it or not. That's just the way the universe works. You don't gain something without losing something else. You can't constantly gain and gain and gain. Everything you gain has a price you pay. There's always a price you pay. There's always a trade-off. So in the journey of exploring our fears, our job is to not allow these excuses, these reasons that at certain times might have their place. But our job is to not allow them to take over, because before you know it, time has gone by. Time moves faster as we age. That's the thing that I want every 20-year-old, every 15-year-old, every 25-year-old to truly understand. And unfortunately, you won't until you reach a certain age where it suddenly all clicks. Is that as you go through life, time is moving faster and faster with you. It feels like a roller coaster, this life. Every roller coaster starts at a steady pace, and then it gets crazy. And then it gets really fast. You're holding on to dear life. Why do the fears matter? In a moment where life is moving faster and faster, and you have less and less time in this world, the reason why your fears are actually important is because if they're connected to your identity, if they're connected to a deeper passion that's always been residing inside you, perhaps since the day you were born, or so early into your upbringing that you don't even know where exactly it came from, that fear is a guide. That fear is an invitation. If you pursue the fear, eventually there won't be any fear left. And what you end up with is enthusiasm, is energy, is this positive force, power, and creativity. The ability to turn fear into something positive through repetition, through exposure. That perhaps might be one of the most beautiful journeys of growth any human being is capable of exploring. Because every single one of us has some form of fear around some topic in life, and that topic may or may not mean something to you, but if you look deeply enough into your own psyche, you will find a topic that actually means something and has a source of fear attached to it. It's impossible for it to be any other way, because by definition, as something means something to you, your mind is starting to come up with all sorts of reasons why it may or may not serve you well. And that by itself creates tension, attachment, fear. Our journey in life is not just to succeed, to make money, to find love, to procreate. Our journey in life is essentially to explore these fears. If you do so, all the rest of it becomes a far smoother journey, life becomes so much more fun, so much more enjoyable, so much more loving, so much more worth it to be alive. And the more you avoid it, the opposite happens. And that is the problem, is that the more you avoid your fears, the more you live within them, the more they take over your life. These things are like viruses. They will surround you. Every time I meet someone who is way older than me, in their 60s or 70s, I'm constantly thinking, is that person happy or not? And if not, what kind of limiting belief that is rooted in fear, rooted in some deep negativity that they were not allowed to get rid of? What kind of limiting belief do they have today? And how long have they had it for? Unfortunately, in most cases, these dark limiting beliefs that are rooted in fear have been with us for nearly our entire lives. You have an opportunity to shatter them. You have an opportunity to explore them at the very least. Accept the invite, my friends.